Well, kind of big news in media circles today. Patty Ritchie has hired a press flack. Communications director. Yes, director of communications for the new senator. He is Jim Reagan, longtime scribe and editor for the Ogdensburg Journal, hometown editor for Patty, and obviously knows him pretty well. It's sort of that blurring of the line between the mainstream media and the mainstream politics and so on. A lot of, like Eric Chris from the Post-Standard, he's got some flack job somewhere. A lot of these people go back and forth because when you can get out of a media job and into the womb of government at a certain point in your life, you enjoy doing it. Even though, well, there are certain... I always found it hard to do that stuff because some of the things you're supposed to say, are wrong, and they're silly, but you say them anyway when you get in those jobs. I always watched Mangione when he had to do it. He was a good reporter when he was with the Hoot there, and then when he was Senator Albertine's flack there. I mean, some of the things that the quotes I'd read, I said, "Wow!" But you just have to do it because you're in a different role. I mean, if you're loyal to the new boss, who's not the same as the old boss. 755-1240, the phone number. Anyway, we wish Jim well. I mean, I remember Jim from back in the 80s, from partying a bit up in Ogdensburg in the Maple City. I know he's in tight with John Moore and Fryatt and all those people. So one of our own gets elevated to a position of responsibility. But, it's a good thing because he's going to be able to keep the local press down here is fairly mellow and so on, and they don't go after anyone, but, once in a while, but only when they need an award, right? That's me, too. I like to get those awards, and they're nice, but, no, I think Reagan will do a good job of keeping the local media in tow, and he's affable and all of that, and maybe, he'll go on and do a couple interviews, and his boss won't have to. There's been some controversy. There was a New York Daily News wrote a little article, editorial critical of her for going to some lobbyist thing. I stuck up for her on my blog. I stuck up for Miss Patty, but, and then, who else? She wouldn't go on Capitol tonight. That to me is a little, some things are venial sins, and that's a little more of a mortal sin there, because you really should go on Capitol tonight, especially since she's an important character in Albany politics. She's the 32nd vote for the Republicans. It's not like you're just another, one of 110 assemblymen or something, bowing their head dutifully to Sheldon Silver or something like that. I mean, she has a real role in Albany politics as the 32nd vote. So she should be on Capitol tonight. Good afternoon, Hotline.
Yeah, I noticed a memo from Miss Carvu to you and City Council on hiring a confidential assistant.
Yes, that was
Mr. Elliot Nelson. Is he from Watertown?
No, from Michigan, I believe.
So there was nobody around here that applied for the job?
Well, there were several people who applied. Whether or not, obviously she has criteria for hiring. Apparently, didn't make the finalists. I know that for sure.
Yeah, just kind of curious. This is how was this thing announced?
Well, when you read it there, I mean,
how was the position announced as a vacancy?
Oh, well, it was advertised in professional publications, I assume. I think it was in the paper here. It was something that was funded in the budget months ago, and of course. The previous assistant to the city manager left, as you'll recall. That was Brian White, and the position's been vacant since then. So for the fiscal year that started in July, it just wasn't filled until she was able to find someone she wanted to hire.
Yeah, I was just curious. I always wonder about these things, and I'm sure a lot of other people do too, but they'll probably always say get the best candidate. But I mean, Well, there's always that argument, why don't you hire somebody local? In which case, if that were the case, no one who has a son or daughter who grew up in Watertown would ever be able to see their son or daughter get a job somewhere else. So people do move around. Well, I understand that.
Yeah, and
he's moving here after he gets the job. He's not here now applying for the job, and there's a difference there.
Right. He's definitely. Well, he got hired, and he's moving here to take the job.
Okay, well, I'm just curious, that's all.
Yeah, well, we wish him well. I met him briefly when he was up for his interview, and and obviously rely on the manager's judgment as far as hiring someone that'll do some good, and we'll see how it goes.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you. 755-1240 is the phone number if you'd like to give us a call to be on the hotline today. America's favorite noontime talk show is on the air, as they are every Monday through Friday at this time on this community broadcaster station.